Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick recap once a week of what's going on in space, and today is going to cover the fourth week of July 2019. Our first story is SpaceX. Elon Musk did a tweet talking about the Super Heavy, and the big news is they are increasing the horsepower of the Super Heavy. Instead of having 31 Raptor engines, the Super Heavy is now going to have 35 Raptor engines. So there was not any explanation about why this was done, whether it could be that the Starship is developing a little bit heavier than originally planned, or they want to have more payload, or some combination of those two things. But this is good news. The Super Heavy is going to be more powerful, and he's going to be doing a big presentation soon on the whole Starship infrastructure, the Starship design, any changes that have been made. And that is thought to happen sometime in late August. The Planetary Society launched a light sail. This was their second effort, Light Sail 2. And the mission seems to be going very well. It unfurled the solar sail, which is about 344 square feet. So it's a reasonable size. It's already sent back some images of Earth. Everything seems to be going well. And it's nice to see this finally happening, because the idea behind the solar sail goes way back, before Sputnik. It's about 100 years old, the idea of the solar sail. So kudos to Planetary Society for doing that. Here in Florida, OneWeb had a little bit of a celebration. They had the ribbon cutting for their big factory here in Florida by Kennedy Space Center. It's over 100,000 square feet. It's a very large facility. And they're going to be able to build 2 satellites a day at this location. And the reason for this is their first constellation, phase 1, is 648 satellites. So they have a major need for a lot of affordable satellites, and they'd like to do business with other firms as well to make satellites for them. We had some nice news on Starhopper. Starhopper has already done a couple of what they call tethered test flights, which are, I don't know exactly, a foot, 2 feet up in the air or something, with a tether connecting the vehicle to the pad. So they had the first untethered flight. Everything seemed to go well. The vehicle got about 60 feet up in the air, landed safely. All this happened in Texas at the Boca Chica facility that SpaceX maintains over there. So Starhopper is doing well, and they continue work on the second generation of prototypes, the orbital prototypes. They are building 2 of them, one in Texas and one in Florida, somewhat independently, so they learn from each effort. They're passing information back and forth between Florida and Texas, as one of those prototypes is built in each location. Meanwhile, at Rice University in Houston, Texas, scientists have made a nice breakthrough on solar power. While solar power has a lot of great benefits associated with it, there have been limits on the efficiency, with a typical solar cell generating efficiencies of under 30%. What Rice is conceived is a combination of pairing the solar cell with something that can transfer the heat that sort of emits from the surface of the solar cells, to convert that heat into energy as well, using carbon nanotubes. Their research is suggesting that this can generate efficiencies of approximately 80%, or over double the normal efficiency of solar cells. There are a vast array of different uses for this, both in space and here on planet Earth. So congratulations to those people at Rice University for coming up with this idea, and hopefully it can get into commercial applications and be used in the very near future. The European Space Agency is working on a spacecraft that is going to return Mars samples to the Earth. So the Mars 2020 mission from NASA is going to collect the samples, and ESA is going to work toward bringing them back to Earth for testing. So hopefully this will proceed well. And the most recent thing is ESA got bids from some companies for some of the aspects of this mission. NASA has issued some Space Act agreements on a rather auspicious day on July 20th. They issued these things. If you're not familiar, Space Act agreements are not contracts. NASA is not paying money to these companies. They are sharing their expertise and facilities to work with industry to help them achieve their goals. So 13 different companies are involved. But some of the highlights here are, as you might have guessed, SpaceX and Blue Origin. On the Blue Origin side, they're doing Space Act agreements to help them with the development of their Blue Moon lunar lander. On the SpaceX side of things, they are looking at studying how they can land the Starship on the surface of the moon. How cool is that? And also how they can do in-space refueling with cryogenic fuels for the Starship. So very exciting stuff coming. So thanks to NASA for sharing the wealth with these companies. That's it for Space Headlines, covering the last week of July. And we'll be back soon with the first week of August. Take care.